Welcome back to the Quiet Onset podcast. I'm Ewan Gruff and I'm joined by my host Lachlan. How are you doing this week?
Good, man.
Yeah,
I realized each week going back and listening to these episodes, I'm always like, thanks for having me back. But I'm like on every week, so I don't know
you
why I keep
are
saying I'm
you are on a
back.
thin rope each week.
I'm
You might not come back.
constantly here. Yeah, thanks for not firing me, I guess.
I
I
perpetually
don't know how
keep you
this
in this Discord room as well. You
I
are
don't
not
know how
allowed
this
to leave.
works. Like you have all the logins and passwords to like
Yeah,
all of our accounts, and I'm just here recording. So you're my
I'm not.
boss.
Yes. Oh fuck. I can't think of the quote right now, but it's like I'm not coming back for like a certain thing. I'm coming back for everything. I don't even know the movie.
Everything.
That's it. Yeah. Uh,
Oh, that's the social network.
The social network, that's it. Yeah. Oh my god. We even did a roll that again. Not that like a roll that again, as in the roll that again that we now do, but back in the day. Uh,
What the role that again used to be, I guess.
what? Yeah. It's baby footsteps, and now it has grown to be an adolescent teen. I don't know. It's in its beginning stage. Is about to grow up. But yeah. So we have a bit of an update. I guess the first episode of the roll that again podcast is out. We are recording
Yes.
another episode right after this one. So there should be another one up fairly soon. So go check that out as well.
Which I don't
Um,
think we announced, but it's
no, we
it's
haven't.
King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, the
Yes,
Guy Ritchie 2017 flop.
big
I
flop.
realized,
So
yeah, I realized that we've done two films that we've
Yeah.
recorded. Has been released, and one is known as Episode 0 and shall not be released. One of those is Scream, and the other is Independence Day. Independence Day being the one that we released. And now I thought, well, we were going to do Snatch, which came out a couple years later.
Mhm.
Not very close, but in almost the same age as what Independence Day was.
Yeah.
I'll get into it when we do roll that again, but I thought it'd be kind of interesting to do a modern one this time, and also a film that wasn't as successful as either
Exactly. Yeah.
of those two other films. So I'm excited to talk about it later on, and you should be too. I'm forcing you because that's my podcast, and you're joining me.
Listen.
Bitch.
Okay. Wait. I got eight pages of notes for Quiet on Set. Guess how many pages
8.
I got for roll that again?
6.
8. I'm
Wow.
keeping it equal, man. I'm prepared.
You
I
could
got
have
some
just
stuff
done
ready.
you could have just done like 4 enters between each note that you made,
Mm,
just like
well-
4 gaps.
Yeah, I'm not showing you my show notes then. Anyways,
Add
well,
new page, add new page, add new page.
yeah, exactly. It's just like one actual note. It's like I watched it. Lachlan, be happy. But also the video podcast launched. We did decide to put that first episode out on YouTube, and thanks for the people who thanks for the people who checked it out. This one, I guess, if you're watching this on YouTube, then hey, you see me right now. We are back on here. So we'll keep this a video format, and yeah, I like this new direction that we're going in. But let's actually get finally into the show. Wait, Lachlan, do you have a Dune cam, a second one set up, or like can I?
I don't have Dune Cam. I've basically just got wherever my webcam has been dropped off to, which seems to be you can see the tripod it's sitting on. You can see the
Yeah.
book that I'm currently reading.
This is odd. It's
A
very dusty as well.
A warranty book for a bag that I just bought, my monitor stand, and I think that's, what is that? Oh, it's my lens cap. So
Does
yeah,
that come with a
Dune Cam
director's
is
cut?
now- yeah, Dune Cam today is just gonna be drunk camera cam or just dumped camera cam. So
Dumped camera. Damn camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything prepped for this episode.
That's okay. We can't keep the standards up of having something like Dune Cam each week. I mean, that would be crazy. But also something I really wanted to vent about real quick before we get into, I swear to you, we'll get into the show, is daylight saving time. Man, it's so confusing because America just switched, I think, on the 14th. And then 2 weeks later, on the last Sunday of each month, of March, is when Europe is doing it, including the country that I'm in right now, Switzerland. So for 2 weeks,
Switzerland. Yep.
there's gonna be like a difference in time with the US, where they are like 1 hour closer to us. But also, additionally, not I guess it doesn't really affect us. No, it does affect us at the end of the day. It's just like that on March 27th, we are moving 1 hour forward. But you, being in Eastern Australia, don't move forward as well. But the rest of Australia does a week later.
Sure, I
So
don't blame
if
you because
you kept
you're
up
in the
with
northern
any of that,
hemisphere. I'm on the west side of Australia, not the east side.
oh, sorry, yeah, I flipped it, but yeah,
That's okay. No, you're up.
that's exactly
I'm upside down. You're the right side up, obviously, in perspective of Earth, because yeah,
Morbius. Yes, yeah, exactly.
Australians are upside down. Yeah, no, in a like, there's like 3 states that don't do daylight savings, and I'm pretty sure it's like Queensland, Western Australia, and I think it's the Northern Territory. I think there's just the 3 states that just don't do daylight savings,
I
which
just
it's kind of
remember
annoying.
when I was in Australia, I guess we were in Queensland, and I was just super confused when like time differences kept changing and it didn't adjust, but some places it did. It was just, and there's like one state where you have like half an hour as well. Isn't that like this is
Yeah,
dude, time is
probably yeah,
confusing, which I
yeah,
guess
it's
is a
dumb.
perfect tie-in to a movie that we're talking on later on with After Yang. Anyways, coming up in today's show, speaking of that, we are looking at the trailers for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, the
I can't
Obi-Wan
believe
Kenobi
we just
trailer.
completely forgot about the podcast. I thought we turned into a daylight savings podcast
I could
instead of
talk.
a film
I
podcast.
spent half an hour yesterday going through the Wikipedia and looking at
Mm.
maps of
Yep.
where what stuff is happening.
Well,
It's
technically, you
interesting
didn't spend an
topic.
hour at all because you've gone back an hour. So you've technically gained yourself half an hour. You didn't waste any time at all, bro. Don't worry.
Yes, if I switch my VPN to the US while I do that, I actually save time.
Man, you're time traveling, bro. You're fucking time traveling. Forget hot tub time machine. Say hello to VPN time machine.
Oh my god. But yeah, where was I? Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer is also out, as well as a trailer for The Boys season 3 and Miss Marvel, or
Man, it
Miss
was
Marvel.
trailer
I don't
week.
know. Yeah, it is quite a big trailer week, and I caught up with a couple of TV shows. And Lachlan, what did you watch? I guess this
I watched
is for later
Mulan.
on. Hey, well, I guess we'll talk about that in a
Yeah, there you
second.
go.
And yeah, finally we got some reviews for Kokonada's After Yang, and we'll look at the new Pixar film Turning Red. But if you want to skip around to anything specific that interests you, the time codes are, as always, down in the description below. Also, don't forget to drop, I guess, a like on YouTube, and maybe share it, and rate us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Goes a long way to help us grow the show. But Lachlan, let's, without further ado, get into the news of this week. And first up, we got some news on the Warner Bros. Front of DCEU. Wait, is it DCEU? Is it like the DC
DC Comics
Cinematic
Extended
European
Universe?
Union, or is it what is it? In
I think it's just
I don't know
Extended
if
Universe.
Extended Universe, that's what I was looking for. Extended is very on point with Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder just needing everything extended. Anyways, they need an extension on these releases because a couple of their films have just been pushed back. Pretty much all the DCEU films have just been pushed back one slot. So Aquaman moves out of 2022 from December 16th to March 17th, 2023. The Flash moves from November 4th to June 23rd, 2023. And Black Adam moves from its July 29th release to October 21 later this year. And then Shazam, which was set to come out, I think, quite soon. I forgot to put the date in here, is now moved up to the Aquaman date on December 16th, 2022, which is also the same release date as Avatar 2. Which is interesting because, like, at first it seemed maybe they're moving
Ooh.
Aquaman away from that release date, so because it competes with not underwater creatures, but isn't like part of it, isn't like a big part of Avatar was filmed at those I don't know the term of it in English, like what it's called, but like the deepest part of the ocean in the
Mariana
Pacific.
Trench.
Mariana Trench, yeah. I was about to say like Marinara Trench, and I was like, that's a sauce.
The Marinate Trench. You just go there and you marinate your ribs for a couple hours and you bring it up because all that pressure just really like.
And it is
sets
really
in.
deep fried by the end of it, being so deep
Yum.
down the ocean. But yeah,
That's where
I don't know.
KFC was invented.
Lachlan, do you have any do you have any thoughts on this? Because like I don't know, to
Uh,
me it's just like
I
release date shifts, right?
find it kind of funny that they had that big trailer like DC
Yeah.
Universe 2022 with all of these films, and they're like just literally almost like 2 weeks later. Because I remember seeing it at the Batman
Mm,
screening, and it's like, oh no, we're just gonna move like half of them to 2023.
yeah.
Um, it's an interesting fact with Avatar 2, the same date, because some of these films have semi got a trailer, some of them semi don't, or at least
Yeah.
some sort of we have some idea of what it's going to look like. We have no
Yeah.
idea what the fuck Avatar 2 is looking like right now. James
No,
Cameron
that's
has been
right.
locked in his little fucking hole. He's been stuck at the bottom of the Mariana Trench editing this fucking thing, and we
Yeah.
haven't seen a single thing about it. So what they're going to do to try to make Avatar 2 as successful as Avatar 1, because they've got a lot of I wouldn't say there's hype, but they've got a lot of weight on their shoulders for this
Yeah.
sequel. What they're going to do to get audiences to see this film over, say, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, will be kind of interesting. I can't wait to see what their marketing campaign's actually going to look like.
It's very funny. The Shazam director posted on Twitter that Shazam 1 was a Christmas movie that was released in summer, and
Mm.
then now he's making a summer film that's released on Christmas.
Ayo.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm apart from maybe The Flash, I'm not really interested in any of these films anyways, if I'm being completely honest. But I think Shazam is just gonna get a bit buried. But I mean, you never know if Avatar turns out to be kind of a flop as well. Not that Cameron really has directed a lot of flops. He usually,
Mm.
I guess, uh, goes for something big. And yeah,
He's a great filmmaker. We know
yeah,
that
yeah.
for a fact. He's got
Oh
a
yeah, for
very
sure.
good he's got a large list of good films, essentially, compared to his bad films. I wouldn't even say there might be a bad film. I'd say they're all pretty good in most people's eyes. So we
Mm,
know that Avatar 2 is going to be a good movie. Whether it's going to be a successful movie, whether everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, I want to go see that, is going to be interesting, because, films can make $1 billion pretty easily these days in cinemas. Now that COVID is basically coming to a end, uh, let's see where Avatar 2 is going to slot in. Is it going to
yeah.
be as successful? Is it going to be, a flop?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just like a moment in time in 2009 as well, where it was just like so big and kept like the way that it was going was just it never got out of cinemas. It stayed there for a long
Mm.
time. Kind of similar how the success of well, not really, because Spider-Man was like a really big opening just when it came out. So it was like a different time as well. So I don't think that success, at least in that way, can be replicated. But in an ever-changing industry, especially in on the cinema front, uh, it's going to be super interesting to see this track just from a numbers perspective. Um, anyways, speaking of numbers, Dune is adding a second number to its name because it's Dune Part 2. I didn't know how to
Dunes.
segue into the next thing. But
Dunes.
apparently, Dunes, yes. Apparently, Florence Pugh is potentially joining the cast of Dune 2 as well. So that's one piece of news, which is exciting to me. I love Florence Pugh. And the second one, I guess, is that Villeneuve says they're about to begin shooting pretty soon, which is also exciting. But when do you think we'll get Dune 2? What do you think if you had to predict a release date?
It's going to be a while, which I'm okay. I don't want
December
them to
16th,
rush into this.
2022, rivaling Avatar.
I don't want them to rush into this. Like, I
Yeah.
want a sequel that's thought out methodically. Now, whether they've done the majority of this pre-production work and they just split number 1 and 2 up, and they kind of just like put number 2 on the back burner and they knew what number 1 was going to be, that's
Mhm.
exciting, and hopefully we get to see it sooner. But uh, hearing that they're pretty much done with the script and they're in pre-production stages for filming, uh, gets me excited that I'm going to see it sooner rather than later. But
Yeah.
depends how much VFX are going to be in this bad boy.
Yeah. That's also like to, I guess, go back real quick to the DCU shifts. I think that's also a reason why those movies are pushed back. I
Even
think
Avatar 2 as well.
yeah, that is
Actually,
crazy.
all the
That's
movies
like
we've
we
discussed
haven't
so far.
yeah, a lot of effects heavy stuff. And I think they've set just the dates for Avatar like so far in advance. And I mean, I think he shot 2, 3, and 4 at the same time. Um, so I
Which
think the
is
editing,
ridiculous, by the way.
yeah. So I
Just a
don't know if
quick comment.
that is very ridiculous, but I think there's like the way that he's described it. There's time jumps where you get to see a character later on, but it's like 2 movies down, so he needed to shoot that straight away.
See,
So
that's like so ridiculous. Like
that
I
is,
know that
yeah,
for most film productions, you film it in the most budget friendly way. And
yeah,
typically that's not in order. Typically it's like there's very rare occasions that you would film scene 1 to scene, 60 in order, right? That's
yeah.
way more expensive because it's too methodical in a sense that it's like you have to go like back and forth, especially if you do time jumps. But to
Hmm.
shoot
It's
3
crazy.
movies in the same shooting time and you're like, hey, by the way, so we're going to do it to the next scene, which is in 4 movies down the line, page 52, paragraph 6. Cool. Action. Like, that is,
I
like, to the actors, that's some credit that needs to be given.
Yeah, big props to the first AD and the script supervisor. That job must be
Fuck.
so tedious and crazy. But yeah,
James Cameron is both director,
I'm
assistant director.
he is everything.
It's just all him.
He also shoots it so he ages as well, and he shoots himself in that way as well. So, but imagine he just like shot this thing since 2009, just so he basically does Boyhood but for Avatar. Uh, Anyways, let's move on to this week's trailers. And first up, we got the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which just premiered at South by Southwest. It currently has a rating of 78, sorry, on Metacritic, which is quite high for Metacritic,
Ooh.
I'd say. And it's coming out in limited release on April 22. So, yeah. So this is the movie where Nick Cage acts as himself. So, Lachlan, do you have any thoughts on this? Are you keen?
Man, I thought the first trailer got me excited, and I kind of wanted to keep
Yeah.
my eyes away from it, so I didn't really look at this trailer. But I have to now because of the podcast, so I watched it.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, it's okay. Because this trailer was dope. Like it actually gives me a story that I know I'm going into, and I
Mhm.
like the story. I really do
Yeah.
like the story so far. So if Metacritic is giving it a 78, and it's the majority of it has been positive, has it been? Are there any? Do you have any like audience reviews by any chance?
Um well, we could have a look at what the critics said if there's a difference there, but the one thing I heard, and I don't consider this a spoiler at all, but it's just like that it's not that like the premise is very promising, and they do a bit to underdeliver on that, and it shifts into more action later on, which I
I
mean,
don't
you
care.
could like it or you
I
can't.
don't
Like,
care.
I think that is just like very in theme of Nick Cage, that just the movie loses itself maybe a bit and it just goes bonkers. And I don't know. It's just Nick Cage is perfect for this role. They obviously probably I mean, they have written it for him, obviously, but it's like I
Mm,
don't know if there's any other actor that this would work with. I mean, it would be very funny with John Travolta because he's been in so many shit movies.
true.
But Cage also still has like the talent where I can see he brings a role like Pig, every now and then he goes off to do something crazy.
I'm excited
So
because the last thing I watched him in was Pig. So
yeah,
going to this should be very exciting. There's no user scores yet because obviously it's not out yet for audiences, so it's all just critic reviews, and there's only about 8 on Metacritic, but the majority of them
yeah,
are positive. The lowest one is only 60, and I would still say that's a
that's
good
solid.
movie.
Yeah,
That's an enjoyable movie. Like
yeah.
what was hang on,
Well, there was from the directors of Swiss Army Man, the Everything Everywhere All at Once. That has been getting raving reviews, like people
good
saying
because
it's
I'm
the
very
best movie
excited
of
for
the
that.
year, and I'm so now I'm so keen for it. I'm
I'm
very
excited
looking
for
much
it.
looking forward to that. Yeah,
I'm excited
we
for
don't
it.
have
I'm
a
just
new
looking at the
trailer for it, so yeah,
Nicolas Cage movies.
yeah.
By date. The actually no. I think the last film I watched him in was
It's Prison
Prisoners
of the
of a
Ghostland.
Ghostland. Fuck. Okay, so Prison of a Ghostland got 53, Pig got 82, and then I
Yeah,
also saw The Croods: A New Age, funnily enough, which is 56,
I saw
and
that too.
then I never got to see Color Out of Space, which I was kind of
Me
excited to
neither.
watch.
Oh no, I
I
did.
might watch that.
I did. Yeah.
But like, my God, does he's these movies just go from real bad to real quick. Like Looking Glass 33, Mum and Dad 59, Mandy 81, which that's a good one as well.
I haven't seen that one yet.
So if Mandy gets an 81, Pigs an 82, and then you've got, let's say, Willy's Wonderland at 44 and Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is 78, man, I think I'm going to enjoy this movie. I think I'm going to fucking enjoy this movie.
So yeah, we'll check it out. I don't know, probably not on April 22nd because it is just out in limited release. We'll have to wait and see when the regional releases will happen 4K. For us. Yeah, the unbearable weight of getting
I'll be like, nah, Dune's
massive
not the best
TV
movie on 4K this year. It's Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Anyways, let's move on to the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer and that mini series that premieres on May 25th and is a 6-episode series directed by Deborah Chow and is set 9 years before A New Hope. So, Lachlan, are you keen? Is this the Star Wars story that you've been waiting for?
You heard me when before we did the podcast. Like, I've already seen this trailer like 4 or 5 times before today.
Yeah.
But I just watched it again because I didn't need to, but I wanted to because I'm so excited. It looks like it's higher quality than some of the other Star Wars TV shows that have come out recently, which kind of gets me excited. It just feels like it's like they've put a lot of tender love and care into this series over some of the other ones, especially Book of Boba Fett, in my opinion. But I am excited.
Do you think it could be bigger than The Mandalorian? Just in like people's interest?
Yes.
It's kind of a trick question. I think it's fair to say that it probably will be.
My gosh, if this is not the most successful Disney Plus TV show to date, I don't know what's wrong with Star Wars community.
Yeah, because they do love themselves some Ewan, which I can agree with, and some Obi-Wan as well.
Only thing is, just so I'm not all positive about it, I did hear as a little rumor that they kind of had an idea of bringing Darth Maul into it, and then they scrapped it. I do know this is only a 6-episode miniseries, so there's no chance of a second season because they're kind of like it's a one-off kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's Disney. They always fucking if it's gonna make a money, they're gonna pump it out.
Yeah.
I really wish that wasn't the case, that they scrapped Darth Maul. And I kind of wish it was 10 episodes. I kind of wish it was like a longer. I don't think 6 episodes is enough unless they're going to be hour-long episodes, which if they're hour-long episodes, you know, they're going to do like Game of Thrones Season 8 and just make big, long episodes, but less of them. Okay, maybe. But if it's going to be the same length as Mando or Book of Boba Fett, I don't think I'm going to be very happy with that. If it is, I would like 10. If it's going to be hour long, then I'm okay with 6. But if it's going to be hour long and 15 minutes of fucking credits, then no, I'm not going to be happy with that either. So yeah. I'm not all like happy with what they're going to present. If they present a nice, sweet little story, I'm cool with that. But like, I kind of wish it was bigger.
I think I could also see a quite reasonably founded a problem of, or like a previous problem that they had of having a story that's kind of just like going along and you have some narrative and then a bad guy comes in 5th episode, is resolved in episode 6 with like maybe Anakin coming in.
I hope not.
Then like that could very much be the case, and I feel like if they maybe like go a bit bigger and bring him in earlier, I think the dynamic could be
is it the
more
Inquisitors?
interesting. You know?
I hope the Inquisitors play like that underlining villain that are always reporting back to Darth Vader, or Anakin, whatever you want to refer to him as. I hope they're referring. I hope they keep going back to Anakin, and he is that kind of big bad that doesn't do any action until maybe episode 5 and 6. Like he's there, he's in there. They're talking to him. He's actually active within this series.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
pop up. So I hope they just don't pop him up and be like, "Here's Vader." I hope they kind of be like, "Here's Darth Vader."
Here's Annie.
And it just gets more and more menacing as it goes along. So I just want to see the like I want to see Darth Vader popping off because
Give me
I
Hayden.
love Rogue One.
Give me
but
some
I
Hayden.
love Rogue One because Darth Vader's in it and he pops off. So I want to
Yeah.
see some motherfucking lightsaber battles. I want to see one more lightsaber battle between Vader and Obi-Wan, and I would also
Yeah.
like to see Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. I've heard a lot of great things about the Clone Wars animated series, and
Mhm.
I've been meaning to actually sit down and watch it. I've watched kind of like the first season, I think it is.
Mhm.
But I've heard a lot of great things about it. So that, and I think it's the Bad Batch as well, is also pretty good. So I
Right.
kind of want to sit down and watch that. When have I got? May 25th? I might be able to watch it before then.
Yeah. And we'll see if we do a series review. Maybe after episode 1, we'll check in. And this is probably going to be a show that we both watch week by week. So we might have a bit of
there's
our
no way
thoughts.
I'm just going to save it right to the end. I'm watching this week by week.
What we've been watching. We'll probably end up talking about it a bit during those 6 weeks. Anyways, another show that's not dropping weekly, at least for the first 3 episodes, they all drop on June 3rd, is The Boys season 3. And then it will go to a weekly release till June 8th with a total of 8 episodes. So, Lachlan, what did you think of this first trailer where we got to see Butcher have power? You saw the first 2 seasons of The Boys, right?
Yeah, no, I've seen the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
This was very exciting to see because I was pretty hyped for season 3. However, while watching it, I realized I've forgotten the story.
Yeah, me too. I was like, wait, Butcher got powers? And I don't think he did.
I was like, I don't remember that. I was like, what am I missing?
yeah.
Am I missing something here? So it's
I don't
either
know.
like I really probably have to go back and rewatch it, which I don't mind
Yeah.
because I did enjoy my first watching of the series. But I forgot the story, so I was kind of like at a loss. The trailer was dope though. I think the trailer was pretty good. It was like got me interested, but I forgot the story. Sorry.
It still feel like I think the only downfall to this could be that it leans too much into we have just the gore and we are, darker and that's what we do, and the story ultimately doesn't end up being interesting. So far that hasn't really been the case with season 2. I thought that one was quite solid as well. Super entertaining. So I'm I remain positive about the quality of season 3 as well. And we also got our first look at Jensen Ackles as a Soldier Boy. Not that Soldier Boy, the Soldier Boy in The Boys.
You!
Imagine it's just like his power is to sell you like shitty consoles, the Soldier console.
Soldier console.
And you game and then you become addicted and you don't do crime.
Exclusive to Soldier console. Soldier Boy's console platform.
Oh man. Anyways, speaking of superheroes, we also got the first trailer for Miss Marvel that comes out on June 8th. And had an interesting trailer, I gotta say, with The Weeknd and Blinded by the Light playing in the background the whole time. Interesting visual approach at the start with those comic book accurate bubbles that didn't continue throughout the whole trailer. So I'm wondering if that's like a visual style that's in certain scenes or was it just for the trailer? But yeah, what did you think of this first look at Miss Marvel?
I don't know the character, so I'm not very familiar with her powers, but she seems very, very cool.
Yeah.
Overall, I thought the style was alright, and I really didn't care that it was blinded by the light and it was all like, oh, look at my sparkly powers, yada yada yada. I really do overall like the style that this trailer has presented. Yeah, the comic book thing kind of ended pretty quickly, but I was thinking that's maybe just a quick thing that they do to like set up the character's quirkiness. But again, 6 episodes. Because I don't know the character, I guess I don't know if I need a full season of 10 episodes that are, 45 minutes long. In this case, 6 episodes might be fine to kind of get up and running. But I'm kind of not overall. Okay, I'm going to take a quick moment to comment on 6 episode seasons. I don't know if I like it. I think I like 10 episodes a season. It's more clean. It gives you more time. Things feel less rushed. I just feel like that's a better way of doing TV shows. I don't know why it stopped. Can someone explain, please? Why
I think it's just a binging model as well. That it's
Oh.
If you have something that's too long and you don't do it week by
But
week,
won't
which
they release
this
it
will
weekly?
this will be week by week. And I think it's just like this event that they have for 6 weeks, and it's probably I don't know, because they like I don't know if Moon Knight is also gonna be 6 episodes or if it's gonna be 8. But I actually am in between. I think 6 is too short. 10 can be too long, where like episode 6 or 7 kind of drags. I think 8 is the sweet spot at the moment. So I'm like, I think the boys has it figured out with their 8 episode seasons. But yeah, it also depends on how long they are, because a lot of the Marvel shows felt a bit more like they were just one movie split up into I guess longer drawn out TV episodes,
They spent like they felt like 90-minute long movies
Yeah.
as a TV show.
And I'm not the biggest fan of that, because that just means that they are adjusting the cinematic model to boost the streaming service, which makes sense, like to create a longer event, other than just like a smaller film that wouldn't be as big in cinemas. But I do like an origin story in form of a TV show that then I guess kind of leads to like it's optional, you don't really have to watch it, but then she'll appear in next year's The Marvels, which is going to be with Brie Larson and probably a bunch of other characters, and she'll be in that as well. So it's basically like an origin story, a setup for the continuance of this character. But yeah, I think this kind of ties in nicely with Turning Red, because it's very much that like teenage energy. Although I'm not like the biggest fan of the fangirl character, but it is like a very much a stereotype that they have. But like most of, I guess, big Marvel stuff usually is. So I guess you can't really fault it for that. But yeah, we'll probably check it out. I don't know, Lachlan, if you'll be watching it, but me being the person that I am, I'll probably check it out anyways. And then something that all of you should be watching, because it's gonna be the epitome of art this year later on, releasing on September 23rd. So it is up for Oscar contention in Best Animated Film, is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So as someone who
Movie of the year
has seen the Shrek films
Movie
like 10
of
years
the
ago
year.
and can't remember then, hasn't seen the first Puss in Boots, Lachlan, I'm gonna hand this off to you. What do you think of
It's going to be
Puss in
movie of the
Boots?
year.
Yeah.
Move
No,
over,
Sonic 2 is coming out, Lachlan. You
Move
can't
over
be saying
Sonic
that.
2. Move over everything. What is it? Everything
A24.
all at once.
Yeah.
That
Everything
one?
all at once, yeah.
Move over that. Move over what else is coming out this year that could be movie of the year? The Batman. Get the fuck out of my way. You're not
Yeah.
a real superhero. You know who's a real
No.
superhero?
Someone
Puss
with
in
9
Boots.
lives. Yeah.
9 lives. You know
And
why?
has to
Because
learn
I
the
have a
meaning.
feeling they're going to kill
Yeah.
off Puss in Boots.
That would be crazy.
They're going to kill
That
him.
And then it's continues the series with the lady friend that he meets.
They're going to do
Puss
a
in Heels.
20
Puss in Heels.
episode season on Disney Plus.
About him and the cat afterlife. And it's
Yeah.
basically the Coco version of Puss in Boots.
So
it's the Shrek universe. It's all the cookies crumbled up in heaven.
Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. What did I have? I had something. It was something to do with Puss in Boots. Fuck, what is it? Hang on. There's a joke somewhere here.
There is. Maybe in another life. You'll find it.
Nah, it's gone. I've lost
Okay.
it.
Okay.
It's
Let's move
departed.
on.
My joke needs to go. Needs to die.
But yeah, that's another outing in the Shrek universe. Lachlan, do you want to see a sequel to Shrek, or maybe a remake? At
A
some
remake?
point,
Are
or-
you the fucking devil? Who the fuck would want a remake of Shrek? Whoever makes a remake of Shrek deserves a special place in hell, because it's already the most perfect, amazing movie that has ever been made. And I can't believe that you haven't watched it.
I've seen it. I just haven't seen
Yeah?
Puss in Boots. I've seen Shrek. I think I've seen at least the
seen Shrek
first
2?
2. Yeah. I've seen the first 3. I
What's
think
the
I haven't
plot of
seen
Shrek 2?
I can't remember, because as I told you,
How
it's 10 years
dare
ago.
you? You should get it tattooed onto you.
What should I get tattooed? Like a Shrek face?
Shrek. No, the script of Shrek 2. Every single line. Starting from your forehead, going all the way down to your big toe, and then it, goes all around.
It's Memento, but like the moment it leads
It'd
up
be
to
the
is
weirdest
actually
thing to
me
bring
watching
someone home from
Shrek,
a
yeah.
nightclub, and you go to hook up, and you're getting undressed, and they're just looking at you and they're going, why the fuck does this person have all of these quotes from Shrek 2? And then your party trick is, hey, look, I've got Shrek 2 tattooed onto me. Every line.
That is perfect. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that down the line. We'll get the whole script. That must be so many pages, though. You must be really talented and able to write.
I'm actually I just
small
googled
font.
the Shrek
If there's
2
like a,
script.
oh, I thought you were
I
gonna Google
can't.
if there's someone who has like a script tattooed onto them.
I don't think there's the script. There's the transcript, but there's not the actual script. Once upon a time in a kingdom far, far away, the king and the queen were blessed with a beautiful baby girl, and throughout the land everyone was happy until sun went down. They saw that their daughter was cursed with a frightful enchantment that took hold of every night. Wow. Dark. Okay,
Yeah, anyways, we can talk about Shrek at some point on Roll It Again. The thing
Roll it
is, like,
again.
it's just gonna, like, whenever we talk about a movie that we haven't seen or we should do rewatch, it's just like, oh, let's do it on Roll That Again,
Roll
maybe
It
in
Again.
4 years, but we'll do
never.
it at some point. Yeah, whenever that Shrek remake comes out, we'll do it. Anyways, let's talk about the new releases of this week, Friday, March 18th. We got Windfall over on Netflix from Jolly McDowell, the director behind The One I Love, actually another film that I can shout out that was quite fun. A man breaks into a tech billionaire's empty vacation home, but things go sideways when the arrogant mogul and his wife arrive for a last-minute getaway. So this is starring Lily Collins, Jason Segel, and Jesse Plemons. And yeah, we'll be checking that one out and have a review for you, at least a short one, next week. Also over on Netflix, we got the first season of Human Resources, the Big Mouth spin-off, set in the world of the monsters, I guess, from that show. And that will be Lachlan a 10-episode season. There you go. But I guess in the comedy format, they're about 20 minutes long anyway. So still a breeze watch, but probably about the same amount of time that it would take to watch a longer 6-episode series. Then we also got Cheaper by the Dozen, the Racuous exploits of a blended family of 12, the Bakers, as they navigate a hectic home life while simultaneously managing their family business. That's a hard logline to read for me. We got Zach Braff from Scrubs starring in this, and yeah, Gabrielle Union, who was in Bad Boy 2 and 10 Things I Hate About You. And I also saw that she has a credit in a TV show called Gay of Thrones. Was interesting to see, but yeah, that's a Disney Plus release. We also got Master on Prime Video, a film that I can very much recommend. I caught this one over at Sundance this year, at an elite New England university built on the side of a Salem-era gallows hill. 3 black women strive to find their place. Navigating politics and privilege, they encounter increasingly terrifying manifestations of the school's haunted past and present. And I'm not done yet. There's a lot of releases this week. Also out on Hulu, we got Deep Water with Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas. We talked about this one and the trailer for it last week. So yeah, that also comes out on Hulu. And then in limited release, we got X from Ty West, starring Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, Kid Cudi, and Brittany Snow, which is a movie about a film crew shooting an adult film in a abandoned cabin somewhere. I don't know, somewhere reclusive in Texas. And then the chain breaks loose. Maybe not a chainsaw, but it takes a violent turn. And then finally, out in limited release, we got Alice, which is the story that is very much close to, well, it's based on the same story that Antebellum is, that came out a couple of years ago. It stars Kiki Palmer and Common, and I can't recommend this one. It kind of sucked ass, if I'm being honest. It was pretty bad. But without further ado, that's it for the news this week. And Lachlan, let's move on to what we've been watching. So, Lachlan, what have you been watching?
Not a lot. Why? Because I've been busy. Why? Because
I think that's your answer every week.
Every week.
We know,
is,
Lachlan, that you're busy.
I'm a busy boy. What can I say? I have to watch 2 movies for this podcast, 1 movie for my podcast.
Well, yeah,
and
exactly,
then I've got to maintain a full-time job, prep for the podcast. And here I am. with one movie to talk about instead of Ewan, who all he does is when he stops working on this podcast is watch more movies
I also have two
and listen
jobs
to
and a full-time
albums.
student. And I listen to no, never mind. This is us venting that we have busy lives, which is
We're
it's
so
fine.
busy.
Anyways, oh my god, feel for us. Oh my god, you know what would help if you would rate this podcast 5 stars and maybe like share it or give it a like. That would actually go a long way in
I can see
making
why
my
you
day
work
so
behind
much
the
easier.
camera and not in front of the camera.
Anyways, talk about Mulan, man.
Mulan is just great.
Yeah.
Can you guess which Mulan I watched?
Oh, I assume it's gotta be the original
Why would you think that?
because who in their right mind would watch the remake? But for what reason?
Well, exactly because it was my girlfriend's choice. She decided we should watch Mulan.
Oh,
She was like, "Let's watch
great
Mulan."
choice, great
Cool.
choice. Yes,
So
yes, great choice.
we watched the Mulan original movie, and it's fucking fun as always. I'm just
Yeah.
I haven't got much to say because if you've seen the original, it is quite good.
Mhm.
Great story, great songs, great animation overall. It's just really fun. So
It's how I enter every call that we are in. I just go, let's get down to business.
I'm trying to think of another song that I could have made a joke to, but I can't remember.
Anyways, yeah, that was good. Good movie.
That's all I've got. That's all I've got. Other than that, well, I played a little bit of Horizon, but I'm too busy to play Horizon, so I just want to finish Horizon so I can play Elden Ring, and then I'm too busy to do any of it, so I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know if you have the endurance to play. I know I wouldn't have the endurance to stay with Elden Ring.
Elden Ring is going to be the game I play for the next like 6 months once I start it.
I'm a rage quitter. I cannot. I don't think I could do it.
You're barely a rage starter.
I'm very calm and collected most of the time. That is true. But I watched a couple of things. I caught up with some series, or I guess Pam and Tommy finished the show about the sex tape leak from Tommy Lee Jones. No, not Tommy Lee Jones.
Whoa!
Imagine Tommy Lee Jones and Pamela Anderson. It's an actual two-faced sex tape. It is Tommy Lee though, so that is a common mistake that you could probably make. It's still kind of funny, I guess. But yeah, played by Lily James and Sebastian Stan. I think the show has the potential to go into an interesting direction of like taking someone's property and like privacy and taking that away, putting it onto the internet, and like it dramatizes that part quite well. I thought the show just left a lot of potential on the table and didn't really go in very interesting places. But I think it's a nice showcase for the makeup and the performances, especially Lily James. I guess gets a bit more to shine as well. And yeah, I think it was a fun watch, but I wouldn't say there's anything that you take away from it other than it was entertaining. And then I caught up with Upload Season 2. That's a show about like a future where people, when they die or before they die, they can upload their consciousness into like this thing, and it's like very much a commentary on, I guess, capitalist structures and how you would then be kind of, put into an order depending on how much money you make. Like it's very much that, but also underlined with comedic bits. I thought that season 2 was quite weak. Season 1 was quite entertaining. I thought that the second season was a bit lacking. And then I caught up with Pieces of Her, which is a Netflix show starring Toni Collette, and that's the only reason I watched it. I heard some mid things about it, that it wasn't that great, but I thought, gotta check it out. It's Toni Collette, and I thought it was even worse than what people described. I thought the show was very generic, very much just the thing that you expect while never going into any deeper way, because it's like about this initially it starts out with like someone being shot, like a boyfriend shooting her girlfriend, that like her his ex, and then the main character, I guess Toni Collette, reacts to it in a way that's like uncovering a mystery, and it becomes that whole thing the whole way through, where like just like this intrigue and that backstory, and it was just kind of boring if I'm being honest. And they're not even done after this first season. They set it up to be in a season 2, and yeah, not the biggest fan. But something I actually want to talk about. I kind of want to just like dump all of those shows out because they were just kind of mid. I like last week we talked about, a bunch of albums that we really enjoy and creators. And I caught up with Tyler, that creator. I finished up all of his discography. And I also listened to pretty much everything from Frank Ocean, other than the unreleased album. I'm about halfway through that one that's just out. You can find it maybe somewhere on YouTube. But yeah, Lachlan, I just wanted to ask you. I think we talked about this last week already with your favorite Tyler the Creator song. Or no, did we just talk about Ken? I think we just talked about Kendrick. But do you have
Yep.
like a favorite album of his? I know that you really like his no, never mind. Yeah.
I mean, we're not a music podcast, but I really do like Tyler the Creator's style and just a lot of his. I just find his music, not just his like lyrics, but the actual music itself, very calming and crazy sometimes. I just actually like the producing side of him as well.
Oh yeah.
I'd say probably my favorite album. Uh, I really liked Flower Boy, but I've also really
Hmm.
liked Igor quite a bit. But I'd probably
Yeah.
still go back to Flower Boy each time because I just found that album just to be overall just a really good album.
Yeah,
That'll be mine.
that's what I thought when we talked about it last week. You mentioned that, and I hadn't gotten through Igor and Call Me If You Get Lost.
Mm.
And call it recency bias, but I think for me it is Call Me If You Get Lost because I listened through, I guess, Igor and Call Me If You Get Lost, and immediately after, because I do still, I guess, kind of rank everything, and I have my notes and like a neat little Excel spreadsheet. I know I sound like a crazy person saying that, but I gave it like a 10 out of 10 immediately. It was like, oh, this is fucking perfect. And Flower Boy was to me like a 9 out of 10. I really still loved it, but pretty much like every song from Call Me If You Get Lost has now like a like on Spotify and is in my rotation. Um, and yeah, I especially I love Hot Wind Blows because it mentions Geneva, and I feel like, hey, he's saying Switzerland. That's nice. That's nice. Come to Switzerland, Tyler. And then I looked it up, and well, to my surprise, Tyler the Creator is coming to Switzerland this year, and
Hey,
he's coming to the literal city that I live in. This little town, because we have like one of the biggest. Well, we have an open air rap festival that's like one of the biggest ones in Europe, and he's going to be the main act of the first night. So yeah, I'm getting some tickets, and I'm
hell
definitely
yeah.
gonna see him live. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'll report back to you. That's gonna be in July. But yeah, very much looking forward to that. And yeah, I think if you haven't listened to these creators, I'll just list a couple of my favorite tracks so you might be able to check them out. So this feels like a productive segment of the podcast. I'd say Hot Wind Blows is amazing. Massa, Manifesto, Mama Talk, which is just like, no, wait, that's just a short thing in between. Blessed as well. Wilshire, I think, a magic wand. A Boy is a Gun, November, and I fucking hate you. That's some of my favorites there. I don't know if you want to add a favorite of yours to that list, Lachlan, for people to go listen to.
I've always liked 911 Mr.
Which I guess ties into Frank Ocean because he's also on that track, and I caught up with him. I mean, there's only 2 albums that he did. I especially love Lost and Bad Religion, but then there's also his bigger songs like Pink and White, Super Rich Kids, Ivy, some great stuff. In the debate of, I don't know if this is even relevant, but like in the debate of which album do you prefer? But yeah, which one do you go with? If Blonde or Channel Orange? What's your preferred
Blonde.
album to listen to?
I really enjoy Blonde quite a bit.
I I like our dynamic then because I'm contrasting it by picking Channel Orange. I really love that album. But yeah, I have really enjoyed getting into musicians, and this was supposed to be a monthly thing, so it doesn't overtake what we've been watching segment. But I decided to make this a whole rap month because we're like about halfway through, and I started to listen to Kid Cudi now. So that's been my life. But yeah, that's it for what we've been watching or listening to, I guess. So let's get into Turning Red.
Let's go. I'm Maylin Lee. I wear what I want, say what I want, 24/7, 365.
13-year-old May is experiencing the awkwardness of being a teenager with a twist. When she gets too excited, she transforms into a giant red panda. That's Turning Red from Domi Shi, the 100-minute long new Pixar film now streaming over on Disney Plus and Disney Plus only. It's not in theaters. Well, I guess it is in theaters in places where Disney Plus isn't available, but mainly it's not in theaters at all. Which I guess we'll get into that later on. We talked about it last week already. It is a bit odd to us. Anyways, overall, to no surprise to anyone whatsoever, a Pixar film usually does good in the ranking and the reviews. So on Letterboxd, it's currently sitting at a 3.8, on IMDb a 7.1, and on Metacritic an 83. Just the consensus has been so far that critics really like this film. Audiences are not responding as positively with it. And Lachlan, where do you land on that discussion?
I land in the middle. That's right. I'm neutral.
That's right.
I'm Switzerland.
Hey, we also
How do you
have
feel about
a red white flag, so technically you are turning red for this if you say
Turning
you are
red.
Switzerland.
Yep.
Yes.
Could also be turning into a communist, but we won't say that joke.
But I think I land on a similar spot than you do. I think I'm pretty down the middle, which for Pixar is kind of, I guess, on the lower tier because they usually have that higher quality. I just didn't connect with it in a way that maybe the movie needed me to. We'll get into spoilers. We will do a bit of non-spoiler, and then we'll definitely get into spoilers because it's so widely available to everyone on Disney Plus now. But it introduces these characters that are quite, they're a lot. She's a lot. Her friends are a lot. Her mother's a lot. It's just a lot. And it's like, you could obviously go for, that's just how, the world at that age for a 13-year-old could be experienced, that everything is so intense. I just thought that, like, it was just a bit overbearing for me, where I got very annoyed and didn't really connect with any of those characters by the end. So it got me a bit out of it. I don't know what your experience was, Lachlan.
I'm completely in the same boat. I feel like my rating would be higher if I could personally connect to this film a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which is why I guess I've sat kind of in the meh category,
Mhm.
where I think it's really well crafted. I think it's like overall the story
Yeah.
is fun, the characters are fun, the animation is, again, it's awesome. Like any Pixar film, I think that the majority of this film works. However, this
Mhm.
film is not made for me, so I really don't have a connection to this film at all. I can appreciate it, and I can understand that this is made for a particular audience, more a younger audience, but also this is the Asian American experience, or I guess Asian Canadian, because I'm pretty sure they're in Toronto.
They're in Toronto, yeah.
But it's that experience of Asian culture mixed in with Western culture, and how that kind of conflicts with, I guess, as a younger person, how the cultures can clash, where it's
Yeah.
like the stereotype of like Asian parents are strict while some white parents aren't as strict. You can definitely see that being played with
Yeah.
her friends.
Exactly, yeah.
But
I think it also, like, the stereotypes are quite strong, but it does come from a place where it feels very personal to the director, at least like how it's portrayed. Like, there's moments where it's very over the top that actually, like, got me out of the whole experience, but I think those were maybe authentic to like how it is perceived for a person, so like you can identify with it quite a bit. um I think I connected with the film on that level as well. I thought the whole uh part of just discovering yourself and your own path was maybe done in a way where I thought that the other forces that kind of went against her going her own way were too over the top at times, where it didn't feel like it's actually like a path that she's going down, but it's more the story needs to go that way. So I thought it needed to be a bit more intimate, a bit smaller. We won't spoil it yet, but like towards the end, it gets very big, and I don't think it needed to go that big, because essentially the story is so much about her just wanting to go to a concert. And basically that's the whole story. And to a 13-year-old at that time, that might be the biggest thing in her life like ever. And I think that is something that's super relatable, and it goes across like gender, race, or like even location where you grow up. And I think it does that part quite well. It's just that being a 13-year-old and listening to a 13-year-old is exhausting and annoying. So,
Yeah.
it can get a bit much after a bit of time. But I agree, the animation style is great. I liked it. It's very, I guess, Pixar-esque still. And I after it, I turned to my brother who I watched this with, and I was like, I I noticed myself preferring like hand drawn animation over digital animation. I'm like, oh my god, I'm becoming a person that's like, oh, the old days were better. We just did the hot hand drawn thing a bit, but yeah, it looks stunning. It's very vibrant, but I don't know if I'm of this animation style the biggest fan of.
You want to get into spoilers?
Yeah, Lachlan, let's get into spoilers, and maybe more specifically what worked and what didn't work. If you're thinking about certain scenes, I have one in mind that springs to me immediately. Just the one
M-
where the mother shows
Mega
up to
Panda.
school
Oh,
with the
different mother scene. I'm thinking Mega Panda.
Mega
I
Panda
found that so
also
much
didn't
fun.
work. Yeah. It's like the
Um,
Toronto version of Godzilla, I guess.
Sorry, no, you go
Panzilla.
first.
Well,
What do you think didn't work?
it's the pads that she brings, and she's like doing
Mhm.
this very embarrassing thing to May, and it's very obvious that it's like, even from her perspective, she, although there's a distance between them, and she's like, there's the generational thing of like, I want to please the person who has birthed me, and like that guilt that comes with it. And I think that part is like understandably relatable, especially in Asian cultures where that is way more ingrained, and it's not even a stereotype. I thought it was just done in a way where I couldn't take it serious. It was played for like, to the superlative like comedic effect, and I thought that happens a couple of times where the connection between mother and daughter is sacrificed for a visual gag that is like hitting a bit more obviously. And yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. But what about yours, Mega Panda?
Well, I was gonna say Mega Panda is like my favorite part because it just instantly
Right.
turned into a Godzilla movie.
It it
And
it
I had
switched
fun
there,
with
yeah.
that. Which I was very confused on how you become a bigger panda. Like, I want to know the lore on how you become that big.
Yeah.
Uh, However, I'll let that pass. I also want to say that the representation of boy bands was also on point, to the point
Oh
that I
yeah.
was like, I can't tell if this is a boy
Very
band
much
from
you too.
America or Korea, because they nail it perfectly. It's like the
Yeah.
perfect mix of like what are they called? NSYNC and BTS.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Yeah, yeah.
perfect combination of them. Um, for me, as much as I enjoyed the film, I didn't think the mother had to be the villain
Yeah.
like that much by the end. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was definitely like this relationship. They're trying to do it together, and then she becomes the villain, and it's the dad that comes in last minute to try to like, you should do what you want to do, yada yada yada.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he plays not a big part in this story at all. So it kind of
Mm-hmm.
sucks that he's the guy that comes in. He's the quiet one, but I mean, I can see why they do it, because he's like, quiet and doesn't say much of his. Like, it's not his opinion, because it's her family that has this issue, not his. So, and I did enjoy that, the grandmother didn't approve of their relationship as well, and she was
Yeah.
mad, and I really enjoyed that backstory part. But for me, the fact that the mum becomes the bad guy at the end, I didn't think was necessary. Whether they
Like in a
could have,
very like literal sense, you mean that they're like fighting her?
yeah, I don't know
I
why
thought
she
you
had to
liked
become.
Mega Panda.
I did.
Hey,
I thought
you're
it was funny.
backpedaling now.
I thought it was funny
It was
that
very
it was
funny.
Mega Panda.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if it works
Yeah.
story wise. I didn't think
Yeah,
it
I
worked
agree.
story wise that it was like the mum became the bad person. So for me, like I like the film. As I said, the reason it's not getting higher stars is it's just I can't connect to it as well as some other people. I'm not denying, like I'm not saying it's a bad movie because I do think it
Mhm.
is a fun movie. For those who are giving it negative reviews, from an audience perspective, it might be because they can't connect to it either, and they just think it's a bad movie because they can't connect to it. Uh, I want to separate myself from that and say, no, I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a good movie, just it's not a movie for me. But
Right.
it's a fun
Yeah.
movie, has its flaws. It's not perfect, but it is fun. And Backstreet
Yeah.
Boys are good.
Backstreet Boys are amazing.
Honestly, I was actually grooving to some of the songs. I'm not a big
Yeah.
K-pop person because, like, I just don't groove with K-pop. And I know that someone commented, was like, how can you listen to music that you don't understand? And I was like, well, I have no idea what they're singing because I can't really, like, I don't have subtitles on, but I am grooving with
Yeah.
what they're doing right now. Their moves are making me, like, hot and heavy.
Yeah, like I found it very funny when they came back in that
They're
final scene.
gyrating? Ooh.
It's like yeah, it didn't really make any sense, but I guess I don't know.
No.
It was an interesting
Actually, that was
choice.
funny. That was funny. Doesn't matter what you
Yeah.
sing. Your mum's like your grandmother's a whatever he says, like a old school or whatever. And then Backstreet Boys come in and sing their fucking song, and it just works with the rhythm. Like like that all came together, and I was like, okay, that's pretty good. I'll give it that. But
It's very
Yeah.
funny. There was like this one scene where she goes berserk in the city and she's jumping over rooftops, and I couldn't help but think of like when she was jumping over and the guy was like looking up at her flying over. I was like, oh my god, is this gonna be a Pom Poko moment and it's just gonna be giant balls hanging? I was like, no, I want to
Jesus.
go back to watch Pom Poko and from Hayao Miyazaki, which wouldn't make sense just because she's a girl panda and it's a Disney film, it's a Pixar film. But still, it's like, hey, they did that in the other movie and I found it kind of funny. But yeah, I think there's like some other issues with it as well, where I thought it was just uh, a bit too over the top, a bit too generic, and that's why I didn't connect with it. I think you can still have like interesting themes, and then not do them well. And I think this movie did them decently. I wouldn't say that it's just like that I didn't connect with it, and that's why I think it's a like mediocre film. I just think it's a mediocre film, and I think that Pixar has been putting out pretty mediocre work for a while now. To surprisingly, I guess, to a lot of people. No, I guess no, Soul was definitely pretty good. Never mind, I take that back, and that was not too long ago. But yeah, Luca was pretty mid to disappointing. Um, and yeah, I'm skeptical that that they have the same quality that they had a while ago. But hopefully they'll I'll connect with a new upcoming movie of theirs, like I did with those older classics. Do you want to give your rating for
3 out of
Turning
5.
Red? I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. And yeah, if you want to go check it out, it is streaming on Disney Plus right now. But Lachlan, let's move on to a film that we both really enjoyed, and that is Kokonada's new film After Yang.
Come on, Yang. What are you doing? Come on.
When his young daughter's beloved companion, an android named Yang, malfunctions, Jake searches for a way to repair him. In the process, Jake discovers the life that has been passing in front of him, reconnecting with his wife and a daughter across a distance he didn't know was there. That already sounds beautiful. And
Yeah.
represents the whole movie quite poignantly. Although the last sentence, I don't think it's like that much about him connecting again with his family, but anyways, it's a bigger thing. I love this film. Critics have also loved it, at least on 2 out of the 3 platforms that we share the ratings with. On Letterboxd, it has a solid 4, on Metacritic a 79, and on IMDb, surprisingly, a 6.7. Uh, don't ask me why. I do not know. I tried to figure out if there's like, I looked at it, if the demographics, like age thing, I couldn't really find a like skewing group that just dislikes this film. But it does have quite a few 1-star ratings as well, which was quite surprising to me. Uh, we really urge people to go see this film. It's currently streaming on Showtime and might be playing in some theaters as well. Go seek it out. We'll try and keep this review spoiler free, but I do want to talk about like certain moments specifically. So it's a bit hard to not spoil this film by talking about it because so much about it is just the experience. So yeah, you might be a bit spoiled. Just I guess a slight spoiler warning. But do check out the film. I think it's really worth your time and one of the best films of the film. So, one of the best films of the year so far. So, Lachlan, what are your general thoughts on After Yang having it seen earlier today?
I wasn't excited for this movie. I didn't have a drive to watch this as soon as I could get my hands on it. I thought
Yeah.
the trailer looked interesting, and I thought the concept looked pretty cool. And I read the synopsis that you read out, and I was like, "Hey,
Mhm.
that sounds like an interesting film." And I just didn't like. I wasn't excited for it. So
Yeah.
going into this, completely neutral. I was again very happy that it was only an hour and a half. If you know me, I like my little hour and a
Yeah.
half in and out movies, great experience kind of situation.
Mhm.
And I like Colin Farrell quite a bit, especially after
Yeah.
seeing him recently in the Batman. But one of my number 4 movies that I have on Letterboxd is In Bruges. So I just love his performances throughout his career. He has an interesting career, by the way, but
A
I
very
like him.
interesting career.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very interesting career. But I really do like him. And overall, I didn't know many of the other actors in this, unfortunately. And
Yeah,
I
me
didn't
too.
even know what's his name, Kogamata.
Kogonada, yeah.
Kogonada?
His
I
most
don't know
notable
him.
other film is Columbus, and he did a bunch of that's pretty much the other thing. This like is his second full on feature. He did
Mm.
like a bunch of like montages for a journal. Like I watched them recently. They're really well put together. Like he's definitely like a film scholar who's very much comes with the background of studying film, not just film production, which
Mm.
like to me is really intriguing because it gives me the inspiration to do some stuff as well because like kind of going down a similar route. Anyways, not to not to take away from what you were saying.
No, we're gonna go down. We're gonna go down this avenue now. It's become a therapy session. How do you think that? um,
Yes.
but
I don't know. Time is fleeting and we're all dying.
ooh, it's like
That's my
tears in the
go-to
rain.
thing. Like tears in the rain, exactly. Fitting that you bring that
Fitting.
up because, like, there's some parallels to
There's
Blade
some
Runner to draw from.
parallels.
That you could
And
draw from it.
Ooh, like this movie is a number of things. It is
Yeah.
one like beautiful cinematography. I think that the visual look of this film is incredible, and I've always personally loved the use of aspect ratios. Wes Anderson
Yeah.
does it all the time, and I've always loved the use of it to the point that in my notes, I've got my notes to the side here, I've actually written that if I'm ever wanting to explain how aspect ratio can affect a feel of a film, I will show them this film from now on. Because I
That's
feel
a big
like
compliment. Wow.
the way that it
Yeah.
does the cinemascope for the majority of the film,
Mhm.
the phone call or the communication
Yeah, the smaller
between
frame.
husband and wife with the 4x3, and
Yeah.
then the memories that he explores in full 16:9, and
Yeah.
it gives it that home video feel, and
Mhm.
that instantly allows you to connect. It goes, okay, this is the story. This is a moment that you should take into consideration because it's emotional development between these two characters, and it's not letting you focus on the background, just on their conversation.
Mhm.
And then you've got the 16:9, which gives this more natural video home video feel, and I was just blown
Yeah.
away by that. On top of that, beautiful cinematography, incredible and thought-provoking story, which
Yeah.
this story is subtle. It's not very this is what it's going to mean. It's going to go through a whole bunch of different directions. It
Mhm.
in the trailer, I think it says these things have spyware, and it doesn't really go
No,
very
it doesn't go down
much
that route.
anywhere
Yeah.
near that. And I was like, because I saw that in the trailer, and they said that really early on, and I was like, oh, it's going to go down this path where this corporation's going to come in and it's going to be all fucked up. It never goes down that path. It stays
Yeah.
on this story between this family, and I found that so fascinating that it doesn't go down that route. It like hints at it, and you know that comes into my other note where it's like the world building is subtle. It's not in your face. They're building this, you know, not too distant future world, and it's got these really cool sci-fi aspects to it. And then just amazing acting. Like all the characters perform incredibly, from Colin Farrell all the way down to the young little girl whose name's slipping from me.
Malaya Emma, and then I can't pronounce her last name. We
That's
would
a
definitely
very
butcher
hard
it.
last name.
That's a very hard last name.
whew.
But Mika,
Andrew
the-
Wajrana?
这是个演示。
yeah,
Something like that.
I
The young actress.
we
who plays
should we
Mika.
can edit like a voice
For the
generated thing.
video. For the video people, we'll just have it on display.
Yeah,
and
we'll
then
have it on
for
display.
the
You'll
people
see her
audio,
face.
We'll just play a little clip.
Exactly.
Even her performance was incredible. So
yeah.
for me, my
Hmm.
note that I'll let you have a look at that I wrote in my book, if it's going to let me focus on it, is it's everything I want with a movie.
It's everything you want from a movie. Is that like a grammar error?
Yeah, it's a grammar error because I'm writing
I'm
notes
kidding.
while
I'm kidding.
doing this. But, like,
sorry,
that,
I didn't want to
like-
be rude. That was rude. That was so
grammar
rude.
Nazi coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's everything that I want from a film.
That is high praise. And you know, we were talking this morning or like earlier today. Okay, do you want to start recording? And I was like, I can start a bit early. And people were like, no, I need a bit more time to collect after seeing this film.
Yeah,
And
I've
I
only
was
just
like-
come off watching this.
Yeah. And I rewatched it as well last night. I saw it at Sundance. And I couldn't really take it in, especially like visually as well. They did this thing at Sundance where if you watch with Chrome, they had you like hard locked at 480p or something like that. And you couldn't fully appreciate the look of it. And now seeing it from Showtime, it looks stunning. This movie is
So good.
amazing. It has
want
so
the
many
4K.
moving moments.
Give me the 4K right
Yeah.
now.
It's definitely a movie that's gonna land on Criterion fairly soon. It has like that type of quality. It's again classic A24, just bringing it, delivering it. And I think what Kogonada does so well, especially also in Columbus, because that one is so much just observing architecture. You have a lead character who's, by the way, also in this film, Hayley Lou Richardson, and she's into architecture, and a lot of the film is just like observing that and appreciating it. Here, it was also so much about observing this family, and observing moments, observing time, how you remember stuff, how you forget it, your own identity. There's so many, like you said, there's so many themes that I deeply and like everyone can just connect with immediately, even if you don't like, because a bigger aspect is also like more specifically Asian identity, you know. But there's also like a bigger scope that everyone can connect with just how you remember stuff. And I think the choice of having overlapping moments where people say stuff and they're different because like they remember them differently, or each time maybe they remember it's different. I don't know exactly how I was to take that 100%, but I think it's also beautiful to leave it up to interpretation, how literal you were supposed to take those like repeats. But I don't know about you, but the first time he cues up the montage from the memories and like that beautiful subtle little piano music starts playing, I was like right back into it. And by the end of it, when he's just looking at his own reflection, like Yang is looking at his reflection, just for that brief moment where he smiles a bit, I was like, tears were coming down my face. I was like, this shit is fucking art. That's so beautiful. So I love this film. And yeah, I think, yeah, I said my piece. We have a couple of like other notes as well. We definitely want to get into more stuff. Maybe something I already talked about one of my favorite moments. Then Lachlan, do you have another scene that stuck out to you? that stands out to you?
I mean, I love the dance routine. Does that count?
Yeah. Did you notice that I think all of the people in that dance routine like show up later in the film?
Yeah.
Like I thought
All
that
the
was such
families?
a nice touch that I didn't pick up on when I watched it at Sundance, and saw no one really talk about it. And then yeah, more recently I was like, "Oh, hey, you seem familiar." I thought that was a nice touch. That like that's the connecting thing that they also have, and it's never addressed again. It's just like this one-off thing that I guess is really big in this universe. But yeah, overall it like doesn't mean anything. It's just like something that everyone does. So that was nice. I think to me, there was also like a scene earlier on where Yang and Mika are just outside and looking at like branches that are like attached to another tree. And to me, like that was a very obvious metaphor or allegory he was making with like you can attach yourself to a tree and about adoption and maybe your own identity being grown from someone else's, but you still know that you are from a different branch, you're from a different tree. Like that kind of that played into the Asian identity theme, or maybe even just like overall identity with adoption, or just like even if you are from the tree, you can still feel like you're not part of the tree. I thought that that was just like very literal, like the most literal this movie probably gets with its metaphors, but still, it was brought down to the level of this kid. So she understands it, and I thought that was very nice, like showing that connection between Yang and Mika, and um explaining to us why to her losing him is such a big loss, because she truly has connected with him over his like I guess initial intended purpose, which is just like a facts machine about her heritage, you know. That's basically what he's there for, to make it easier to um for her to be connected to her own heritage while being with people who don't share that same nationality. Yeah, that was just nicely done.
I
Do you
think
have another moment that you like?
if my like, it's again,
Yep.
it's a moment. It's the montage. The first like big montage you get of his
Mhm.
memories is just phenomenal, and then uh that there was just like music was perfect.
Oh
The
yeah.
shots felt like they were just like a kid with a camera who's learning, which is essentially what Yang is. It's like he's in
Mhm.
adult form, but he's such a childlike conscious AI. It's an interesting idea, and
Mhm.
that's kind of where you get that home video feel. Um, I think that would be my favorite moment, but I also really enjoy the conversation about tea. I thought that was
Yeah.
really good, and the conversation about the butterflies with
Yeah, everyone kind of gets their
Jodie Turner
moment.
Smith's character.
Like Mika gets the one about branches, and she does get a couple more. I can't specifically think. I think it's branches, the main one, and then Jake about the tea. And I thought that was so much about the senses, and it's the first time we really get to experience that double layer of memories and recollection, and it kind
Mm.
of blends to where's the memory from Jake, where's the memory from Yang that he's
Yeah, whose
now
memory is
watching,
it? Mm.
right? And then to me, the best moment in the entire film is the conversation about butterflies between Kira and Yang.
So
Uh,
good.
it is so good because it's so interesting because we don't get as much from her as we get from Jake, right?
No.
Throughout this entire film, she's mainly shown as um like they are definitely at a crossroads in their relationship where they don't agree on how to parent Mika the same way. And they're usually frustrated with whatever the other person does because it kind of goes against what they were going for. But this whole movie is also like grounded in such this future is so calm, and it never really escalates. Like there's no one ever shouting, although they are fighting. It's almost like whisper, like when like obviously not that much, but it feels like that because it's so toned down. That it just makes it so easy to observe these people. And I thought that was just like beautifully done. And then them just talking about the like him being honest in the conversation if he cannot be honest, right? And it's like the whole thing of existing, and at the end of life, like, you know, what that does to you. And I think the quote that he then says, there's no something without nothing. It is, damn, to like that comes from an AI is beautiful. And I did try and find out if it actually is uh attributed to that Chinese philosopher that she then mentions. I think it's not. I think what he most closely said is like doing nothing is better than being busy doing nothing. That's from Lao Tzu. I don't know if it's like the quote is from somewhere else. But yeah, it's just a very beautiful moments that they share, and I think it also shows Yang almost being emotional about something. So like it does the world of, is AI becoming conscious, or like this creation. I don't know how they call him again, but I mean it's also clones in this world.
Techno humans, I think they call it, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But yeah, I think that like the whole Blade Runner comparison of having these creatures who become kind of sentient is, are they sentient, or are they just like having certain moments be striking to them? And it doesn't need to be answered that we can say concrete, like, you know, there's the lion and now they are conscious beings and they're like fully aware of it. But it's like the interactions that they have with the people, and like what Yang chooses to remember uh it's very beautiful, because like it feels just like a kid, and that's observing stuff. And yeah, I don't want to get into the plot line of where Yang, like that involves Yang a bit more. I think that's like at the end of the day the core of the story, and I definitely encourage people to go check it out themselves. Get the 4K Blu-ray, get Showtime and watch it. I don't know, go to the theater and see it. I think this is definitely a film worth checking out. And Lachlan, I believe you probably agree with me there.
Oh,
Right?
100%. Wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So where would you land on a rating for After Yang?
I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Wow, a rare 5 out of 5. Nice.
Actually,
Yeah,
have you seen my review?
I haven't seen your review yet.
Jump on
because,
Letterboxd really quickly
yes.
and go to my
let's see this.
profile.
I can just see Mulan right now. 3.5 for Mulan.
Oh no,
Very
you
nice.
should
We shared the
go up to
review.
my favorite films really quickly.
Oh, damn. It's right next to Blade Runner 2049. That's After
Yeah.
Yang and Moonrise
I
Kingdom
feel
and Drive.
bad. I kicked out In
Wow.
Bruges, but I couldn't kick out Moonrise Kingdom.
You
So essentially,
got another Colin Firth film in there, so it's fine.
Yeah.
No,
I
it's
kicked
Pharrell.
out- Yeah. I've
Sorry, I had
kicked
to bring
out
that joke
In
in.
Bruges, and I've now
Yeah.
put After Yang, and that's in my top 4 favorite films. I haven't written a review of that
Crazy.
yet. Might do that, but yeah, that's where I land. I thought that's the most positive feedback that I can give. This movie isn't for everybody. I can definitely
Yeah.
see this
Oh, yeah, for
being
sure.
like, I can see critics liking this more than a lot of audiences. If you like your action stuff, don't watch this. However, thought-provoking films and just overall well-crafted stories, definitely give this a watch. That's going to be right up your alley.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. It's my type of film. And when I initially saw it out of Sundance, it was at the top of my Sundance list. And it's, other than The Worst Person in the World, which I do still prefer, I think it's the best film I've seen in a long time as well. I'm moving up to 4.5 out of 5 as well. It's
Ooh.
not quite there yet, quite there for me with the 5 out of 5, because I thought that the Mika, the little girl, was not selling me at pretty
Whoa!
much all the moments, other than
You heard
the final
you heard
moments.
it here first, guys. Ewan
I am
hates
hating
kids.
on kids. I do hate kids.
Ewan hates kids. He hates
Yeah.
children. He hates the fact that they can't perform. God.
Yeah, they are terrible. Get rid of them and just get clones. You know, we don't need kids in the future. No, yeah, she didn't really sell me. She was great though. I think it was a first acting role. But compared to the other three, which really connected with me, a lot of the moments felt like it's just a girl, like a kid running lines, which took me out of it a bit. So that kind of takes it away from being like this, like all-time favorite of mine. Sorry, but the movie still is amazing. So go check it out. It's still it doesn't really take much away from it was just like a me thing. Maybe it was just a me thing. Anyways, I think that brings us to the end of today's show. Next week, it's a bit still up in the air what we'll do, because as you heard earlier with the new releases, there's a shit ton of new stuff. I thought we were going to do Operation Fortune Ruse de la Guerre. That's why we are doing a Guy Ritchie film. But apparently that movie doesn't have an Australian and Swiss release date. I don't know if it's still coming out in the States. They pulled it. I don't know. There was never an announcement, and I just couldn't find it anywhere, and I had it locked there. So we'll see. There's also other movies like Windfall, Deepwater, Fresh. We'll definitely talk about one of these films next week, and we'll have our Oscar predictions, because we are planning to do a special episode once the Oscars have wrapped and give our reactions to it. But for that, to be prepared for it, we of course have to share what we think will win, and maybe what we think should win as well. So that will be what's going on next week. Yeah, in the meantime, don't forget to drop those 5-star reviews on the podcast app of your choice, and leave us a like over on YouTube if you haven't done already, and maybe go subscribe to the Clips channel and our main channel. You can find that link below as well. It's Quiet on Set Podcast. You can also join our Discord for the announcement of the Roll That Again Film Club and all of that stuff over there. You can also follow us on Twitter, set_quiet, on Instagram, Quiet on Set Podcast, and on TikTok, Quiet on Set. So all of our socials you can find link below, as well as the personal socials for myself and Lachlan too. Oh yeah, I forgot the Letterboxd. It looks really nice to post a video version of the podcast there, because it's like this big post that is just like, the thumbnail of it, which brings me to us, Lachlan. We won't do this on the show. We probably will do it after, but we have to get into the YouTube game and pull a bunch of thumbnail faces now, which is gonna be interesting.
No.
I'm not really looking forward to it. Maybe we'll push it to another week. Maybe I can grab another one from this recording.